have 4 companies that you should have on your radar. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and I always wondered how a penguin would build a house. It turns out it glues it together. Disney, Moderna, Intel, and AMD. We're going to look at each of the 4 companies and see what opportunities lay before us in the markets. I will also tell you about the free stocks available from Moomoo, where you can see my buys and sells and my other information that I have, and then also my options course that I'm building out right now. In the meantime, let's get right into the charts. And the first company that I want to show you is my friend Disney. So let me pop that up there and see what's going on. So for Disney, you can see I have these horizontal lines for support and resistance, and this is a very big historical support that we have right around $79 per share. We have a descending wedge happening right now where we are sort of consolidating, but still somewhat downward. The momentum, however, is starting to kick up a little bit when we look at that down in this part of the RSI that I have down here for you. And then the price action that we have right here, we also have coming up off the bottom here. It's almost a double bottom. It'd be much better if this bottom were up a little bit higher than that one, but it's still worth looking at, and we could come back up to the top of this descending wedge that we have right now. The 50-day is just creeping out right there, right around 84.63, it looks like. So I do think that we have room for this up to probably about $85 per share. Should that momentum pick up and cross back up above the 50, that could be a good sign for us. And we want to keep our eyeballs on this for if we're going to get rejected, or as this thing continues to narrow down, which way we're going to break on it. And remember that we are near this historic support right now. We have bounced pretty good off of it so far. And you can see the indecision, the indecisiveness between the battle between the bulls and the bears that's happening on the candles right here. So I would be watching for that. For Disney, it is possible that we have some upside happening on this if the markets are behind us. We're going to have to see if we get a bullish movement in the markets as well, because that can totally make this. So for Disney, it is possible that we start to see that break back upwards on them sometime soon. I think some of the darkest days that we've seen for Disney are priced in, and that from here that they do start that build phase back. So we're going to have to watch and see. If that doesn't happen, we got a fair way to fall. Should we break that, I think that we could honestly see down the point of this thing right around that $72, $73 per share. Should we break out through the bottom of this? So you also want to be on the lookout for that we fail to break resistance and then we end up heading back for support, and then not making it all the way up to that resistance or getting rejected again could put in the likelihood that we break that back down through the bottom of this. So be on the lookout for that for Disney. Next is Moderna. There we go. And Moderna looks a little bit better than what we had for Disney. So when we look at this one, we have it's still pretty much the same double bottom, except this low right here is higher than that low right there. We have the 50-day to contend with, so we'll be watching for that. And we have the RSI in a similar moment where we're coming up off the bottom, getting close to crossing 50. We want to watch for that. You can see the 50-day that we have been rejected before. So where does that put us right now? Well, the 50-day is in as of Friday's close at 108.62, and we're currently just above 103 as of that previous close. And if we look in the pre-market here, we're at 103.44, so we could have 4 to 5% to the upside just to get up to that 50-day. And it is crucial if we're going to break out higher, we got to break these previous highs that we had, which right now are descending a little bit on us. So for this one, it could be a little bit more of a symmetric wedge type look for us. Let's draw these lines on here and find out. So there we go. Looks like we have to extend out a little bit farther on this one to see where they meet. Oh yeah, perfect. So we'll move that over to give us a little bit more room and stretch that a little bit more. There we go. I think that's a half decent look that we have going on right now. Like I said, breaking that 50-day, important. Breaking the top of this trend line, even more important. And then finally breaking those 2 previous peaks that we have. Now, mind you, those are about 115 to 117. When we look at that, that's the area of resistance that we want to look to break. So if we break the 50-day, we still have the top of this formation to break through, which I would say is still shaping up. We don't have total confirmation that's what we're going on, but we have 2 touches to the top, 2 to the bottom. It'd be nice to have a third on each one. So we'll be watching for that. And like I said, watch for the RSI to cross 50. Should we cross 50, and then watch for these areas of resistance here, it is possible that we make a strong move to the upside on this one for Moderna. And with that higher low that we have down here, we want to look for higher highs to come in to show that we're really starting to turn things around from the bottom on Moderna. This is another one of those darkest days kind of companies that I think that some of that could be priced in, that we have the downfall from the decrease in the amount of vaccines through COVID, all that kind of stuff passed from the peak that they had before. And now we're looking for breaking this bearish trend that we have, and we would be watching for those signs, because when we do break those signs of that bearish trend, you can see what happened back here when things really started to look up for them, that now we've returned back to that bearish trend and there could be strong price action. We should be watching for it because that's going to bring back huge opportunity for us. Should this fall to the downside, we're actually not too far away from a really big drop. So watching for the drop out of this formation is also going to be critical. We can go back here to see those prices and what that looks like. There we go. So as we move those prices off the screen, I'd say that we start to hit really good support right around the $80 per share. We also have a little bit at 87, and then we also have a little bit more coming in at 95. So we could drop significantly from where we're at. Should we drop down through the bottom of this formation that I have on here rather than popping out the top of it? So keep your eyes on that one. I think it's critical, and we can play up and down on this, whether we go long or short on it. Either way, I think that there's big money to be made coming up on Moderna. So the next company is Intel. And Intel is just coming off the bottom of their bullish channel, and they have sat on top of their 50-day as of Friday. In the pre-market right now, rocking at about 35.57 is what we're looking at. So 35.57, we're still right around where we're at when we close the day on Friday. So not a lot of movement there. However, you can see the channel and how well we behaved. We played this short when we tagged 40, and then from there we could rise up from wherever we closed 35. Going up, and we can have right here at about 37, and then again at about 39, and then that 40 is going to be trouble for the top of this channel, but we want to keep that lookout going for Intel, and if we do drop back down below this 50-day, it is possible that this bullish channel would then be canceled, and then we could head back down, and we could be looking at the 200-day to the short side of this. So what we're looking at in the RSI, we're even closer to crossing 50 for the RSI. If we get rejected off of 50 for the momentum indicator and that starts dropping back down on us, break the 50-day, that starts dropping back down on us, then it is possible that we start to come back down here and retest support and that we would fall down through that. And falling down through that could show us, let me see, going from right about there, about a 6% drop to the bottom of this thing, and then from there even farther down to about a 10% drop right off the bat, the 200-day there to catch us at about $31 per share. And so we want to be on the lookout for that. Like I said, bullish channel, most likely bullish bias going on here. Watch for the RSI to cross the 50-day. Maybe it returns us back up to 37 or 39. That's what I am banking on, although we do want to keep our eyes out for this thing changing course on us and heading back down towards support instead of up towards resistance. So keep an eye out for Intel. And then the last company that I have for you on this one is AMD. And AMD, as we look at this, is currently in a bearish channel, and I have a few things circled here. Up here in this circle that I have, let me put up the EMA. We're looking for a cross between the green, which is down here, and the yellow, which is up here. That could show us that we're starting to take a bullish upswing on this one, and then those candles riding above the 5, which is the green, and the 13, which is the yellow, and then the red is the 50. As we start to cross back up over that, we could really start to get that bullish reversal coming in for AMD. So that's a possibility for us, but we are in a bearish channel. We do have resistance coming right up above this. So that's also something that we want to be watching out for. The RSI rocking right at 50. So this one, I think we're at a critical moment to tell us if we're going to continue in a bullish direction or if we're going to pop and reverse in the bullish direction, or if we're going to continue in the bearish direction. We would be watching for that. So those are the two critical things that I think that we have to watch for AMD, and we can, like I said, play both sides of it. I like to do it through options for these short-term movements that we have. So calls for popping through the upside, puts for popping down back in a bearish direction, and then we have our guidelines for that to watch out for. So we need to watch for that price of 105, which is about 3% up, and then up from there, the 50-day that we could catch is at about 107, so that could be about 4% to the upside. And then should we fall down through this, we have room even farther down there to the 200-day, which is right now at $95, almost $96 per share. And then should we continue down through that, then we could see a death cross forming, which would be even a bigger bearish movement coming up for AMD. So we are at a critical point right now that we either reverse and go bullish. Keep an eye on the EMAs that we have on the daily chart. Like I said, it's 5, 13, and 50 if we want to use those. Let me bring those down because I have the simple moving averages that are on here as well. Let me clean up this chart so we can look at it. Here's the 50 coming down, which you can see we've been keeping them down below it, so it's a near-term bearish trend that we've been on, and we're still up above the 200-day, which is longer-term bullish trend, and it did act as support for us before, so we're going to have to see how the 50-day treats us as resistance for these longer-term trends, and like I said, the RSI is going to be one of those early indicators for which way we're going to go, and then the EMAs are the other part of that are really good indicators for how that's moving. So as I said I would, free stocks from Moomoo. You can use the link down in the description of this video. Sign up, make your deposit of $100 or more, and you can get your free stocks. At the $5,000 deposit level, not only do you get your 15 free stocks, but a free share of Tesla or Google. And then my Patreon, if you see my buys and sells for how I'm playing this market, both up and down, you can do that through the Discord that's available in the Patreon, as well as my NVIDIA stock price prediction and earnings forecast, and then also Tesla stock price prediction and earnings forecast, which as soon as we get delivery numbers, which could be out right now as I'm speaking, I will update that. I will put it up on the Patreon so we can see what to expect for Q3 and then all the way up through 2030 for the earnings forecast. So that's something to watch out for. And if you like options and you want to know how to amplify your portfolio, you can get access to my options course, which is also available to all tiers in the Patreon. So you can go over there, sign up, and get access to this. And it's designed to benefit the very beginner who knows nothing about options, and it will go all the way up through advanced options trading strategies. And we're just about to get into the applications of those. So guys, those 4 companies, Disney, Moderna, Intel, AMD, keep all of them on your watch list, on your radar. Look for them to travel in the bullish directions for each one of them, that each one of them are nearly at the point where they could show us a strong move to the upside, or they could even fail to hit that and then take a strong move to the downside. And you have the indicators, the EMAs that are out there, the RSI that is out there, and you want to be playing those to watch for that opportunity to strike. We are so close to it on all 4 stocks. I think that they absolutely should be on your watch list. I know that they're on mine, and I've shared them over with my Discord community, so it's on their watch list as well. Thank you guys for watching. Join that Patreon. That link's down in the description. See my buys and sells. See how I'm playing this market, and then also Moomoo. Don't forget about your free stocks. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.